The courthouse was supposed to be the place where Rasheeda finally ended years of betrayal, heartbreak, and humiliation at the hands of Kirk Frost. It was supposed to be her moment of freedom, her chance to walk away with her dignity intact. But what no one, not even the judge, saw coming was the sudden, dramatic arrival of the woman who's haunted this marriage for over a decade. Yes, Jasmine Washington. And she didn't just show up, she came with something in her hands that turned the divorce hearing into a full-blown reality TV finale in real life. Witnesses say the air literally changed the second her heels clicked against that marble floor. The whispers stopped. Kirk froze. Rasheeda's jaw tightened. And Jasmine, dressed like she'd been waiting for this moment her whole life, smiled like she had just detonated a bomb. What was in the envelope she carried? Why did Kirk look like he'd seen a ghost? And why did Rasheeda, for the first time all morning, look less like a woman leaving a marriage and more like a warrior ready to destroy an empire? Sources tell us that Jasmine didn't just interrupt, she exposed secrets so shocking, so deeply buried, that even the courtroom staff had to stop and catch their breath. This wasn't just testimony. This was betrayal, receipts, and raw truth colliding in a way nobody was ready for. And the bombshell Jasmine dropped. It could change everything we thought we knew about Kirk, Rasheeda, and the entire Frost brand. The courtroom was already a pressure cooker before Jasmine even arrived. Everyone knew this wasn't just another divorce hearing. This was Kirk Frost versus Rasheeda, a marriage that had crumbled on national television. A union built on a shaky foundation of reality TV storylines, late-night scandals, and whispers of betrayal. The stakes weren't just about signing papers and splitting assets. This was about legacy, money, and the Frost brand that Rasheeda helped build from scratch. Rasheeda entered the room poised, head high, her outfit screaming power and precision. She wasn't coming to beg. She wasn't coming to break down. She was coming to win. Sitting beside her was Tasha Duval, one of Atlanta's most feared divorce attorneys. A woman known for digging into bank records so deep she made IRS agents nervous. Kirk, meanwhile, looked worn, restless, and nervous. His lawyer, Victor Malone, whispered in his ear. But Kirk's eyes darted nervously toward the gallery, like he knew someone might crash this carefully staged performance. The judge was about to begin when the doors swung open. The clicking of heels echoed through the chamber like a gunshot, and all heads snapped toward the entrance. The entire room froze as Jasmine Washington walked in, hair perfectly styled, lips glossed to perfection, and in her hand a thick vanilla envelope. She wasn't listed on the docket. She wasn't supposed to be there. But her presence alone was enough to send whispers racing across the benches. Rasheeda's lips pressed into a hard line. Kirk visibly stiffened, his hands clenching into fists against the table. Jasmine didn't flinch. She locked eyes with Rasheeda first. Not with malice, not with pity, but with the kind of look that said, "I'm here because you need to hear." Then she turned her attention to the judge. "Your Honor," Jasmine said calmly, her voice carrying across the entire courtroom. "I know I'm not scheduled to be part of these proceedings, but what I have directly impacts this divorce." Judge adjusted his glasses, clearly caught off guard. "And who are you?" "My name is Jasmine Washington," she said, pausing for maximum effect. "The mother of Kirk Frost's child. And I have evidence that this divorce isn't what it seems." The room erupted in gasps. A court clerk dropped their pen. Someone in the back whispered, "Oh my God." Kirk leaned forward, his face pale, hissing, "Jasmine, what are you doing?" "What I should have done years ago," she shot back without even looking at him. The judge motioned for order, banging his gavel. Ms. Washington approached the bench. Jasmine strutted forward, heels striking the floor like thunderclaps. She placed the envelope in front of the judge, her hand steady, her expression unreadable. He opened it slowly, flipping through page after page. His face went from neutral to confused to visibly disturbed. Finally, he looked up and asked the question that shattered the silence like glass. "Mr. Frost, would you like to explain these financial transactions?" Kirk's lawyer scrambled, flipping through his own folder. "Your Honor, we haven't had the opportunity to review whatever she's presented. Says improper, but the judge cut him off. These are signed documents. Your client's signature. Monthly transfers of $4,500 to an entity listed as a consulting firm. But the beneficiary's name is redacted. Ms. Washington claims these payments were support for another child." Gasps rippled again. Rasheeda sat motionless, but her eyes locked on Kirk like daggers. Her chest rose once, slowly, as if she had been expecting something, but not this, Your Honor. "I can confirm," Jasmine said firmly. "Those payments were made to me and the child. He's Kirk's. He's known since the day he was born." The courtroom broke into chaos. Reporters in the hallway could practically feel the vibration of the room shaking. The judge slammed his gavel again, calling for silence. Kirk's lawyer stammered, "We object to this," but his voice was drowned out by the murmurs rising like a tidal wave. Rasheeda finally leaned back, crossing her legs, her face unreadable, but her hand gripped the edge of the table so tightly her knuckles turned white. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The silence around her was louder than any outburst. Kirk, sweating bullets, tried to backpedal. "This isn't what it looks like. Jasmine's always had it out for me." Twisting everything but. Jasmine cut him off with a single sentence that made the entire gallery freeze. "I have voice notes, Kirk. You forgot about those." The judge tilted his head. "Voice notes?" Jasmine nodded, eyes never leaving Kirk. "Recordings of him, begging me to stay quiet, begging me not to ruin his marriage, begging me not to tell Rasheeda the truth. But the truth doesn't stay buried forever." You could hear a pin drop. Kirk's face drained of color. Rasheeda's lips curled into the faintest smirk. Like confirmation of something she had always suspected but never fully proven. Tasha Duval leaned toward her client and whispered, "We're filing for a recess now." Rasheeda nodded slightly, her voice calm but commanding as she spoke up. "Your Honor, my legal team requests an immediate recess to review this new evidence." The judge agreed without hesitation. "Granted. A court will reconvene in 30 minutes. The gavel struck and instantly the room exploded. Reporters bolted for the doors. Lawyers scrambled papers. Kirk slammed his hand against the table, muttering curses under his breath. Jasmine, unfazed, simply walked back to the gallery, sat down, and crossed her legs like she had all the time in the world outside. The lobby was chaos. Paparazzi who weren't allowed inside were already snapping photos of Jasmine strutting out, her envelope now tucked under her arm. "Jasmine, did you just accuse Kirk of hiding another child? Jasmine, are you siding with Rasheeda or against her?" She stopped, turned slowly toward the cameras, and delivered the line that sent social media into absolute overdrive. "I'm not here for clout. I'm here for truth. Rasheeda deserves to know who she really married." Boom! Cameras flashed. Producers whispered frantically into their headsets. VH1 crew members who had shown up just in case suddenly realized they had struck gold. Within minutes, hashtags erupted. Hashtag Jasmine Bombshell. Hashtag Kirk Exposed. Hashtag RASHEED. A deserves better. Inside. Rasheeda sat silently in a private conference room, her lawyer flipping through documents Jasmine had provided. She finally exhaled, her voice quiet but cutting. "I knew it. I just didn't know how deep it went." Her lawyer nodded. "This isn't just about divorce anymore. This could be fraud, concealment, even criminal charges if the IRS gets involved." Meanwhile, in another room, Kirk was spiraling. His lawyer tried to calm him, but Kirk slammed his fist on the table. "She's lying. She's always been lying." "Then why do these documents have your signature?" Victor shot back. His patience thin, Kirk's silence said it all. Back in the gallery, Jasmine scrolled through her phone. A notification popped up. A friend had already leaked the audio she mentioned. Within minutes, the voice note of Kirk whispering, "Please don't. Tell her. She'll take everything from me," hit Twitter. Fans lost their minds, memes flooded timelines. One clip of Kirk sweating under courtroom lights went viral with the caption, "This man aging 10 years per lie." Another meme showed Rasheeda in her power suit with the caption, "When the receipts finally show up." Celebrities chimed in too. Candy Burris tweeted, "Wow, I told y'all the truth always comes out. Praying for Rasheeda." Tamar Braxton reposted the audio with the caption, "Men lie, but the mic don't. The mic don't." By the time the recess ended, the internet had already decided the verdict. Kirk was guilty in the court of public opinion. But what none of them realized was that Jasmine wasn't done. The envelope and the audio were just the beginning. She had one more card to play, and when she dropped it, it wouldn't just expose Kirk. It would flip Rasheeda's entire divorce strategy upside down. And the moment the judge reconvened, Jasmine stood again, ready to speak the words that would set the courtroom ablaze all over again. The courtroom air was heavier than before when the recess ended. You could feel the weight of every secret pressing against those four walls. Kirk walked back in pale and jittery, his lawyer whispering frantically in his ear. Rasheeda, on the other hand, sat tall, composed, her hands folded neatly on the table. If she was rattled, she didn't show it. Her calmness was louder than Kirk's panic. Jasmine was still in the gallery, scrolling casually on her phone. As if she hadn't just detonated a bomb in front of the entire legal system. The judge cleared his throat. "Court is now back in session. Miss Duvall, you may proceed." But before Rasheeda's lawyer could stand, Jasmine did something no one expected. She rose to her feet, walked toward the bench, and asked permission to address the court again. "Ms. Washington," the judge began warily, "this is highly irregular. You've already submitted documents." "Your Honor," Jasmine interrupted, her voice smooth but sharp. "The documents were one thing, but I've brought something else that proves Kirk has been hiding more than just a child. He's been hiding an entire life." The entire courtroom gasped. Rasheeda's head tilted slightly, her eyes narrowing. Tira's hand slammed against the table. "She's lying. Stop letting her talk." But the judge silenced him with a glare. "Proceed, Ms. Washington." Jasmine reached into her bag and pulled out a flash drive. She handed it to the bailiff, who passed it to the judge. Within seconds, a laptop was set up. The screen flickered, and suddenly Kirk's own voice filled the room. It was a recording, grainy but unmistakable. Kirk speaking to someone in a hushed tone. "If Rasheeda finds out about this account, I'm finished. Keep it under Washington's name. She'll never know. And make sure the payments look like consulting fees." The courtroom exploded again. Gasps, whispers, even the court clerk muttering, "Oh my God." The judge slammed his gavel, demanding order. But the chaos was uncontrollable. Rasheeda didn't flinch. Her lawyer turned to her, eyes gleaming with vindication. "We've got him now." Kirk's face flushed red as he yelled, "That's out of context. You don't know what I was talking about." Jasmine smirked from her seat. "Really, Kirk? Out of context? 'Cause I have more recordings. Want me to play the one where you admit to funneling money into a condo in Buckhead under a fake name?" The gallery gasped again. Someone whispered, "A condo." Another said, "Who's living there?" Rasheeda's fingers twitched. She leaned toward her lawyer, whispering, "Get that subpoenaed now." But Jasmine wasn't finished. She leaned forward and spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear that condo isn't empty. "He's been keeping another woman there for over a year." The room froze. Even the judge's jaw clenched. "Ms. Washington, are you saying Mr. Frost is financially supporting another partner?" "Yes, Your Honor," Jasmine replied coolly. "And I have documents and text messages too." "Prove it." Kirk slammed his fists on the table, shouting, "She's a liar." She's obsessed with me. This is a circus. His lawyer tugged at his sleeve, whispering desperately for him to sit down. But Kirk was spiraling. Meanwhile, Rasheeda finally broke. Her silence. Her voice was steady, controlled, but you could hear the venom dripping with every word. You've been hiding a whole other relationship while sitting across from me every night, eating dinner with our kids. A condo? Another woman. Kirk turned toward her, stammering. It's not what you think. Rasheeda cut him off with a single icy glare. Don't you dare insult me with another lie. The tension in that moment was suffocating. But Jasmine still wasn't done. Chu pulled out her phone, scrolling quickly, then held it up for the judge to see. Screenshots. Kirk begging me not to leak this months ago. It's messages where he admits everything. I was quiet until today because I wanted Rasheeda to see the truth for herself. The judge took the phone, read through the messages, and looked directly at Kirk. Mr. Frost, did you or did you not send these messages? Kirk swallowed hard. Those could have been fabricated. People fake texts all the time. But before he could finish, Rasheeda's lawyer produced her own folder. Your Honor, we've independently verified these through subpoenaed phone records. They match. Boom. Kirk's head dropped. His lawyer muttered, We're cooked. The judge sighed deeply, adjusting his glasses. This is escalating beyond a divorce. Mr. Frost, you may be facing charges of fraud, concealment, and perjury if this evidence holds. The gallery was buzzing so loud it was like a concert crowd. Reporters texted furiously. Producers outside the courthouse were already drafting press releases. Twitter threads popped up instantly. Kirk had a whole other woman in a condo, while married to Rasheeda. #KirkSposed. Celebrities joined in. Tiny Harris tweeted, Lord have mercy. I tried to tell Rasheeda years ago. Candy Boris posted on Instagram, that's why the truth always comes to the light. Proud of Rasheeda for standing strong. Even Nicki Minaj slid into the chaos with a cryptic tweet. This tea hotter than my mixtape days. Phew. The courtroom itself was losing control. The judge finally announced another short recess, warning that if Kirk erupted again, he'd be held in contempt. Security hovered closer, ready in case fists started flying. During the break, cameras caught Rasheeda walking calmly down the hall with her lawyer. She didn't speak to reporters, but her eyes said it all. Fury mixed with resolve. Behind her, Kirk paced back and forth, sweating through his suit, snapping at his lawyer. Why didn't you prepare for this? And Jasmine. She strolled out into the hallway like she owned it, stopped in front of a group of reporters, and said one line that instantly went viral. You think this is the bombshell? Baby, I'm just getting started. Twitter exploded again. What else does Jasmine have? Became the trending headline. Memes of Rasheeda adjusting her earrings, with captions like, she about to collect everything went viral. VH1 posted a cryptic teaser. Sometimes the truth walks into the courtroom uninvited. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, coming soon. But just when people thought Jasmine had dropped her last card, whispers began circulating in the gallery. A producer leaned over to a reporter and said, she's got another envelope. That sentence alone sent ripples of panic through Kirk's legal team. Another envelope? What could possibly be left? Back inside, the judge reconvened, clearly frustrated but also intrigued. Ms. Washington, I trust you're finished with surprises. Stood slowly, pulling another envelope from her bag. Not quite. The gallery gasped so loudly the bailiff barked for silence. Rasheeda leaned forward, her jaw tightening. Kirk muttered under his breath, Oh God. Jasmine walked to the bench again, placing the envelope directly in the judge's hands. He opened it, scanned the first page, and visibly recoiled. His voice was tight when he spoke. Mr. Frost, would you like to explain why there are wire transfers from Frost Enterprises to an account linked to a woman named Maya Lynette, and why these transfers were disguised as business expenses? Kirk's entire body slumped. He had no answer. His lawyer looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. Rasheeda's eyes closed briefly, then opened with a calm so cold it was terrifying. The judge turned to Jasmine. Is there proof that this money supported a child? Jasmine didn't blink. Yes, Maya has a son. He's 4 years old. And Kirk has been flying out to Charlotte to see him. The room imploded. A court officer actually gasped aloud. Reporters in the lobby heard the roar from inside and ran back to their laptops. Twitter timelines shattered. Kirk got another secret child. Maya Lynette's son. Rasheeda didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply picked up her phone, typed something quickly, and then handed it to her lawyer. A moment later, her lawyer stood. Your Honor, based on this new evidence, we are requesting an immediate freeze on all assets and full financial discovery of Frost Enterprises. The judge nodded. Request granted. Kirk's empire, his businesses, his money, his property, frozen in real time. He dropped his head into his hands as his entire world unraveled in front of cameras and witnesses. But Jasmine wasn't done. She leaned forward, her voice carrying like a gunshot. And just so everyone knows, Maya isn't the only one. There are more women, more kids, and more secrets Kirk has been hiding for years. The gallery erupted again. Reporters rushed for the doors. Social media timelines detonated with hashtags. Hashtag Kirk has 4. Hashtag RASHEEDA wins. Hashtag Jasmine speaks. And just like that, the cliffhanger was set. Jasmine was telling the truth. If there were more women, more children, more secrets, then this divorce wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about exposing an empire. Rasheeda sat silent, her face carved in stone. But in her eyes, you could see it. She wasn't broken. She was planning her next move, and the world was about to watch Kirk Frost burn. The moment Jasmine dropped that last line, there are more women, more kids, and more secrets, the courtroom didn't just buzz. It shook like a live grenade had been detonated. The judge's gavel pounded, but nobody was really listening. Phones were already out, thumbs flying, news blogs typing faster than they ever had. Kirk sat frozen, his face buried in his hands, while Rasheeda's icy glare burned holes straight. Through him, what had started as a divorce proceeding had spiraled into something resembling a federal investigation and a reality TV finale all rolled into one. And Jasmine. She sat back in her chair, legs crossed, that signature smirk on her face. She knew exactly what she was doing. Within minutes, Twitter exploded. Hashtag CureCaxPose shot to the top of the trending list. Hashtag Justice for Rasheeda wasn't far behind. And then came the one that burned the brightest. Hashtag CureCast4. Memes flooded the timeline. Kirk's face photoshopped onto Nick Cannon with the caption, Atlanta Edition. Rasheeda dressed as Beyoncé with a lemonade pitcher. Jasmine with the Infinity Gauntlet. Each stone labeled as one of Kirk's hidden women. But the courtroom itself was no laughing matter. Rasheeda's lawyer, Tasha Duval, stood tall, voice booming. Your Honor, with these revelations, we not only demand full financial discovery, but also an emergency hearing on concealed assets, undisclosed dependents, and fraudulent use of marital property. We believe Mr. Frost has systematically deceived both this court and my client for years. Kirk's lawyer tried to object, but his voice cracked under the weight of the evidence. This is unfair. Rasheeda finally spoke, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. You think unfair is me building this man's empire? Raising his kids, protecting his name, only to find out he was funding entire secret families. Behind my back, you don't know the meaning of unfair. The gallery gasped again. Even the judge looked rattled. He leaned forward, his tone grave. Mr. Frost, if these allegations are true, you may be facing not just a divorce settlement, but criminal charges for fraud, perjury, and financial concealment. I advise you to remain silent until further legal counsel is present. Kirk's hands trembled. Sweat dripped from his forehead. He muttered something under his breath, but nobody caught it. Rasheeda, though, didn't need to hear. Her face said it all. She was done. But she was also ready to destroy whatever scraps of his reputation were left. And then, just as it seemed, the bombshells had reached their peak. A voice from the back of the courtroom rang out. "He promised me to." The room turned. A woman stood, holding a toddler in her arms. She wasn't part of the case. She wasn't on the record. But the second Kirk saw her, his entire body jolted like electricity had run through him. "Maya, sit down," he barked, but it wasn't Maya. It was another woman, someone new. The judge snapped, "Ma'am, please identify yourself." She stepped forward, defiant. "My name is Tiffany. And this," she lifted the toddler higher, "is Kirk's son. He told me he was divorcing Rasheeda years ago. He told me to keep quiet until it was done. Well, it's done now." Room erupted again. Security scrambled to calm the chaos, but the damage was irreversible. Cameras in the lobby caught every angle of Tiffany storming out after making her declaration. Within minutes, a blurry photo of the child was circulating online, with blogs already declaring Kirk's fourth child exposed. Inside the courtroom, Rasheeda's calm broke, but not in tears. She laughed, a cold, bitter laugh that echoed off the marble walls. "Another one? Really, Kirk? At this point, you might as well pass out paternity test forms like party favors." Kirk's face went pale. His lawyer buried his face in his hands. Jasmine leaned back, satisfied, whispering to her friend beside her, "Told y'all I wasn't. Done." The judge slammed his gavel again. "Enough. This case has spiraled beyond recognition. I am freezing all Frost assets effective immediately pending investigation into financial misconduct. Court is adjourned until further notice." But court adjournment didn't mean peace. As soon as the doors opened, chaos erupted in the hallway. Paparazzi swarmed, microphones shoved into Rasheeda's face. "Rasheeda, do you believe Kirk fathered for children outside your marriage? Do you blame Jasmine for today's bombshells? Are you considering pressing criminal charges?" Rasheeda didn't answer. She walked past them, head high, her mother by her side, her lawyer clutching files like weapons. But her silence only fueled speculation. Fans online declared her a queen for not breaking. "That's not a woman scorned," one tweet read. "That's a general plotting war." Meanwhile, Kirk stumbled out moments later, his lawyer shielding him. Cameras caught his panicked face, his lips moving silently. "I'm finished." The footage went viral instantly. Captions plastered across Instagram. "Kirk admits defeat." And then Jasmine stepped out, strutting like she was on a runway. Paparazzi shouted questions, and she delivered her headline with a smirk. "Rasheeda deserves better. I just gave her the truth she needed." "You're welcome." The internet exploded again. Was Jasmine really exposing Kirk for justice, or was she chasing clout? Fans argued endlessly, but one thing was certain: she had shifted the entire power dynamic by nightfall. Every blog was ablaze. TMZ ran Kirk Frost's secret kids exposed in divorce court bombshell. The Shade Room posted a meme of Rasheeda in sunglasses with the caption, "Unbothered Queen Energy." Hollywood Unlocked dropped an exclusive leaked court documents showing wire transfers to multiple women tied to Frost Enterprises. But the biggest blow came from VH1. Within hours, they posted a teaser clip for the upcoming season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta using courtroom audio. The voiceover: "This season, the truth comes out, and not everyone survives the fallout." Fans went insane. And if that wasn't enough, celebrity reactions poured in. Remy Ma went live. "See, that's why I don't play about loyalty. Once a man lies, he'll lie again." 50 Cent chimed in on Instagram. "Kirk got more kids than G-Unit albums. Boy, you finished." Even Cardi B posted a cryptic tweet. "Sometimes the trash takes itself out." The memes were endless. The hashtags unstoppable. But the story wasn't over. Because while Rasheeda returned home in silence and Kirk hid from cameras, Jasmine went live on Instagram. Over 50,000 people tuned in. Her face glowed under ring lights as she leaned into the camera. "I told y'all Kirk was hiding more than anyone knew. Today was just the beginning. If he keeps lying, I've got more receipts. Audio, video. Y'all not ready for what's next?" The comments section went ballistic. "Drop IT, sis. We need the full tapes. Expose everything." And just like that, Jasmine ended the live with one chilling line. "This divorce isn't the end. It's just the beginning." Internet lost its mind. What else could she possibly have? Video of Kirk with other women. Proof of fraud. Something bigger. The speculation was endless. Fans demanded answers. Blogs promised exclusives. And Rasheeda's silence only made the suspense stronger. But behind closed doors, Rasheeda wasn't sitting still. Sources whispered that she'd scheduled an emergency press conference. Insiders claimed she was about to announce full control of her brand without Kirk, and that she had every intention of dragging his name through both court and the industry. Meanwhile, Kirk's camp scrambled. Rumors swirled that he was preparing his own tell-all interview, planning to accuse Jasmine of orchestrating a conspiracy against him, but nobody cared. His credibility was already shattered, and the cliffhanger, just when fans thought they'd pre-seened. I thought they'd seen the last bombshell of the day. A blogger dropped an exclusive late-night post, a screenshot of an email allegedly from Kirk's own accountant. The subject line, RS Inquiry, Frost Enterprises. Translation, Tax Fraud Investigation. If true, Kirk wasn't just facing divorce. He was facing prison. And as the city buzzed, fans around the world held their breath, waiting for the next shoe to drop. Because one thing was certain, Rasheeda wasn't done. Jasmine wasn't done. And Kirk, he might not survive the storm that was only just beginning. And there you have it, the day the courtroom turned into a battlefield. The moment Jasmine ripped the mask off Kirk Frost. And the second, Rasheeda stopped being a wife and transformed into a warrior. But don't think, for 1 second, this is the end. If today proved anything, it's that every time we think the last bomb has been dropped, another one detonates bigger, louder, and uglier than before. Jasmine already warned us she's sitting on even more receipts. The blogs are hinting about IRS investigations. And whispers inside the industry claim VH1 is holding footage so explosive it could change how love and hip-hop is remembered forever. So the real question is, are you ready for what's coming next? Because this isn't just celebrity drama. This is betrayal, empire collapse, reputation.